guys, welcome back to Lunatic Astrology. I'm your astrologer, Lori Lilly, and we're talking about Venus in the heart of the sun, also called Cazimi. And she does this once in Aries every 4 years. So it's not rare per se, but it is very significant. She is going to be creating a new version of herself as she goes into the heart of the sun and burrs out the other side as the evening star. So I want to talk a bit about what it means for her to move into this mode of being invisible completely and perfectly in the heart of the sun, which is happening on the 26th of March. It is an auspicious placement when she's in the heart of the sun. Doesn't matter that she's actually in Aries, which is of course a sign of her detriment. She's still got some extra strong creds when she's right in the heart of the sun. Prescriptively, depending on where Aries falls in your natal chart, it could be a good day to commune with this goddess, for petition her for favors in love and money. So let's take a quick overview of this Aries story. First of all, if you are ever curious about the story of Venus, she makes this beautiful 5-pointed star in the sky, and she does that by going into the heart of the sun or star pointing in different placements. And, you know, one of the, like in different signs, and, you know, she rotates, and right now she's going to be star pointing in Aries. But one of the best books you could ever invest in as an astrologer, honestly, Venus Star Rising by Ariel Gutman. This is the definitive work on the Venus magic, motion, and everything else. It's great for knowing what you're born as, an evening star, a morning star, what your prenatal Venus Cazimi is, which informs your life story. So before I was born, Venus was Cazimi in Aquarius at 7 degrees. I was born in 62. So that's my natal Venus star point. And there's a whole description of me in this book that's so accurate about what it's like to be me, born as an evening star in the Aquarian mode of Venus, doing her rebirth in Aquarius. So it's kind of fun. So let's get to the whole Venus and Aries thing. Look for, first of all, before she gets there, she's not comfortable. After she leaves, she's not too comfortable because she doesn't really like being in Mars' sign. So she's got a moment of supreme comfort. And the exact time of the Cazimi, if I go for the perfected time, is going to be on March the 26th, Eastern Daily Time at, let me just check, I'm looking at my chart. Well, pretty close to like 5:48 or so a.m. So like in the early hours before dawn on March the 26th. So some places in the world it may be different, obviously. So that's kind of the most magical time, but the whole day is kind of magical. And just to be really clear, because I'm going to check my own chart here. I'm looking at the transit. I want to let you know, how long is the precision magic really in effect, so to speak. Yeah, like it's kind of like the whole day, really. I mean, she's just in the heart of the sun. She's tracking so close to the sun, and it starts on the 25th as well. So I'm just gonna track right through my software. You guys can't see me yet. I'm gonna share this with you in a minute. But the idea here is, oh Lord, see what I'm saying? It's kind of like, because Cazimi is interesting. Some people think Cazimi is 15 minutes. Some people give it a whole arc of a minute, which, a whole degree. So yeah, so on the 25th, she's tracking really close, like 5 degrees from the sun. So let me just pause while I come back with the exact numbers of when this juicy magic is here. Hey guys, so I was just doing the research. So really, starting at like about midnight on the 25th, like as we move into the 25th, she's just really tracking with the sun within like 15 minutes. So she is really kind of already on the day before the perfected heart of the sun moment on the 25th Eastern Standard Time, or Western Time in Canada and the United States. She is really, really tracking right beside the sun. And then on the 26th at 2:32 and 30 minutes a.m. Eastern Daily Time from where I live in Montreal, Canada, she will be at exactly 5 degrees and 49 minutes. Well, the sun is at 5 degrees and 45 minutes. So it's kind of like while we're all sleeping, it's in its most perfected state. So pay attention to your dreams, obviously. And so, the 25th and 26th of the month, and I'm recording on the 24th, Venus is in the heart of the sun. So she can get in communion with the sun, which is kind of like the lap of the king, or the king or the soul energy of the universe. And she's getting her divine mission instructions, right? And if you go back in your life and you go back every 4 years to roughly March of 2000 and everything, 17, 13, 2009, you'll see how she operates for you every 4 years back in Aries. And you'll find that until about January, so these are March initiations, and until about January, during that period of time, she's highly active in terms of what she's instigating as change in your life. Now, like, in other words, even though she doesn't come back for 4 years, you really feel the brunt of the Venus rebirth in your life in those months that follow. So approximately 9.5 months. Just like a baby, having a baby. It's kind of cool. And, she's got a very magical number for her retrogrades, which is like 40 days and 40 nights. She's quite the mystical star, or planet. She's quite wild. So one of the things I want to read to you, because I'm not the expert on the Venus stuff, is what does Ariel Gutman say about the star point energy in Aries? Excuse me. Water. Okay, so she gives us some female archetypes of people born with this star point, meaning this was a star point prior to their birth. So Audrey Hepburn, Princess Grace of Monaco, Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, Jane Fonda, Hannah Marks, Princess Diana, and J.K. Rowling. Holy moly, guys. And for male, she gives us Dustin Hoffman, Bill Crosby, Jack Nicholson. Look at the sexy, like Jack Nicholson kind of vibe. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like that kind of like Venusian masculine, because he was always kind of playing like the player vibe in a lot of his stuff. Ryan O'Neal, Bob Dylan, Muhammad Ali, Barack Obama. Wow. Those are some names of people who are born to this star point, meaning that was where the sun was rebirthing before they were born. And so one of the things we can say about this is that there is a kind of aggressive sexuality, and that's where Venus's stance in Aries in general. She kind of is all hot and bothered because I always say Venus in Aries. First of all, if you ever met a woman with Venus in Aries, she's a tomboy, or she's got a real can-do with the guys vibe, And if you ever meet somebody with Venus in Aries, she could be a tomboy if she's female. I've just seen it over and over again. So there's a quality where the feminine gets down with the masculine and makes it work. Or I sometimes jokingly say Venus is in the beer hall with the Valhalla warriors, trying to make the best of being in a pub with a bunch of fighters, and she's the goddess of love, right? Art and beauty and money and stuff like that. Okay, so I just thought I'd give you some of those famous names. And what else does she say about the Venus star point? Venus's star point's gift to Aries is love and a heart-centered approach to life coming through a profound belief in oneself. Right, because the Aries impulse is me, because it's a natural ruler of the first house. Aries Venus star points assume the driver's seat in life early on. They are what they make of themselves, and Aries Venus star point endows them with good fortune to experiment, take risks, do things most others dream about, strong intuition, born to lead, not follow. So that's for people born to the star point, but you can sort of, assume that she's actually tapping into the energy of Venus. So born to lead, not follow, succeeding by virtue of self-belief, etc. So consider wherever this is happening in your chart. This is what's being reborn. Let me show you something. Like Aries for me, I'll show you the chart. Let me get it open. This is a quickie video, guys. I don't want to neglect that this is coming into action. So you can see here that we have a wedge in the sky. I kept it really simple, plus a trine from Venus to Hygeia. So let's say a couple things about what could possibly be going on here. So we can say that, as she gets ready to come out of her rebirth in the heart of the sun, with Chiron so close at hand, the wounded healer, and later on the asteroid Ceres, the great mother. I didn't mean to put that in there, but there she is, sort of the rescuing mother archetype, Demeter as well. You can see here that we have this wedge formed by the nodal axis, and it is that at the time of her rebirth, the north and south node are in an opposition at 13 degrees. And you can see Mars is getting ready to break free of what is a Kalasarpa yoga, which I, by the way, addressed in another video. But he will be getting ready for, in 2 days after this, to bust out of a very confining part of space. And Venus and Sun and Chiron, and Ceres are all talking to each other. And they're all having a conversation in Aries. But more importantly, Venus is in a conversation with the collective south and north node. And it's possible with that 8-degree conversation that it will heat up as she comes out of the heart of the sun. And actually the nodal axis will swing, the north nodal axis will swing in the direction that the nodes move, which is coming down toward her as she approaches it. So in essence, there's almost like whatever's being seeded now is coming into fruition, all right, with Venus over the next few weeks. And Venus is especially powerful once she becomes visible in the sky, which is likely to be the very end of April or the early part of May, depending on where you live. So with her currently invisible, deeply invisible, and not coming into visibility until the end of April or early May, depending on your latitude, there's a sense that whatever this rebirth is about for you right now in your life, and us collectively, this is not going to be understood or seen clearly by us until later in the narrative, when Venus is actually visible again, and she'll be becoming visible in the sign of her dignity, the sign of Taurus, which is good, actually. We want her to be visible in her dignity. That works for everybody. So that's also to say, whenever she rebirths here, may not play out for you particularly until she's visible. But remember, it is a 4-year pattern, and it is a roughly 9.5 month storyline in which whatever she's doing will play out there. Now, maybe I will do a quick all signs here, because one of the things about the Venus star point, it's best for you to research this yourself. Like I went back and looked at all my Venus star points in Aries and also in other signs for all the other Venus star points, and learned a heck of a lot about my patterns where she rebirths herself for love and money. Right now, I mean, she's moving in a downward movement. So, you know, way back when she first got in Aries, she started moving this way. Let me grab the timing again. Sorry about that. I should have had that up. My mistake. I had the Aries section open and then I closed it. So my mistake. Back to that. Because she wasn't always in Aries, guys. That's a generation, right? She's been going through Aries. There we go. So she got into Aries when? She started moving into Aries back in the 1929, 1930 timeframe. So if you're born after 1929, you could have a Venus star point in Aries at your birth. And, you know, and she's moving from the high degrees, from the 29th degree down. And this is her star pointing in the evening, as the evening star at 8 degrees and 10 minutes of Aries. Is that correct? Sorry. No. Nix. I'm looking at the way back one. She's star pointing at 5 degrees and 50 minutes. So it's almost 6 degrees of Aries. If you have any planets within 3 degrees of 6 degrees, so 3 to 9 degrees of Aries, that planet will participate like a midwife in the birth of Venus. If you want to understand that, you have to go look and say, well, what would it be like if Jupiter was attending the birth of Venus? What would it look like if Mercury? So you need to understand your meaning of your planets, but that's what it could be, like a helper, a mate, a midwife to the birth of Venus. So to give you an understanding then, back in 2017, the star point was roughly 5 degrees. And back before that, it was 8. And then back in 2009, it was 7. And back in 2005, it was at 10 degrees Aries. And back in 2000, you get the idea, 9 degrees Aries back in 2001. So she's moving slowly down to the 0 of Aries. So those are some general ideas about this. Let's talk about all signs since I'm here. And I don't know that I can really wax about this unless you look at your own chart and you go, what was my pattern each of those 4 years back, each March? Add 9 months for the narrative to unfold acutely and a 4-year window of turning points. Okay. So since I'm already sitting here with the chart lined up to Capricorn, what the heck? Capricorn, obviously, the birth of Venus every 4 years is happening in the sky, birthing as a morning or evening star every 4th year. It's happening, and it helps to know what your birth star is, right? I'm an evening star, and you can tell you're an evening star Venus if the planet Venus is to this side of the sun. Okay, she never gets more than 47 degrees, and you know that you are, which is roughly, 1.5 signs away, or is that Mercury? But she never gets very far away. And similarly, the other direction, if your Venus is on this side of the sun as you swing around the chart, then she's a morning star. Okay, so that's how you know if you're a morning star or an evening star. Morning stars are demure, seductive, feminine, and is more like the love Venus. And in the ancient tradition, the warrior Venus, it's got a little more masculine drive, is the morning star. So, and then visible Venus in the middle, like someone born with her in the sky, not visible to the eye. She's the magical sorceress Venus already. And like Oprah Winfrey has not only a invisible, but a Cazimi Venus. All right. So your and she's pretty well invisible, roughly 15 degrees from the sun. So if your Venus is within 15 degrees, certainly within 10, she's invisible. Always depends on latitude further out towards 15. So I would say also, when you go back and track your patterns every 4 years backward, right? Again, do pay attention to any midwiving planets that may be happening to be near the degrees of her rebirth. All right. So this year, again, it's rebirthing at basically almost 6 degrees of the sign of Aries. So for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant folk, there is a birthing of a new form of possibility for love, money, beauty, art in your third house of siblings, travel and trips, education, local friends in your neighborhood, local neighborhood events, bars, pubs, libraries, coffee shops. Those are the areas, where the love babe is birthing. And it's funny because, I can't count the times where I've met somebody that I've dated or even married while I was in that 9-month period of a Venus star point coming out of the third house, and I meet them at local parties or pubs or whatever. So it's a local vibe as well. And if you want to write or express anything, self-expression and writing is that. Oh my God. Stop the presses. I need to edit. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. This is happening in your fourth house, the fourth house of home, of your anchored, the root of the chart. Pay attention to how those 4-year patterns have shown up. Could mean that you would find love close to home or in your hometown. It could have meant that you gained financial benefits from real estate or home sales or land or things to do with that part of your life. This house is the mother or the ancestral family line. And sometimes it can be about a parent when something happens here. So pay attention to that. Venus likes harmony, love, and beauty, art and grace, and financial wellness. So she could be birthing a positive financial development in the house of where you live, or a love story close to home. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. This is a Venus star point happening in your third house of siblings, short-term trips and travel. It is also the house of self-expression. If you're a writer in particular or wanting to express your ideas, this is a really positive star point for that element. Venus does rule all forms of art, including writing, poetry, novels, etc. Now, you may also find that if you want to benefit in some way from short trips and travel in the next 9 months, or some benefit coming through a sibling, Venus, especially a female sibling, Venus can be very supportive of some positive developments there. And lastly, the house of oracles and diviners. Definitely not a bad idea to consult a female oracle after she rebirths herself as the evening star. That could have a positive influence in the next 4-year narrative of your life. So Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant, Venus is going to give herself a new version of herself coming out as the evening star, rebirthing from the morning star in your house of financial stuff, money, self-worth, self-possession, gains from your career. How exciting. And there's that wedge with that. I didn't do this for everybody else, but there's that wedge with the real estate house and the career house. So, anyway, so money could come from a sale of an asset as well. But the idea is like a home sale or something. You definitely have a lot of goodness coming to you here, but go back every 4 years and see how was it March 2017 and then 2013 and then 2009. Track your own financial story. And also, love and money don't necessarily not go together. So in what ways does love bring you financial well-being and any of those backstories, and try to think about how it could come this year. Your second house can be your self-possession, your sense of self-worth, as well as things you own. So maybe you'll get a new Venusian possession, like a beautiful new sofa or settee or a deluxe bathtub, things that Venus would appreciate. Luxury items particularly. Aries, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. You guys get this in your house of you. I'm an Aries Sun, Moon, it's our birth of us. We're getting more look, hey, be me. So like, you be you, us be us. The more we're definitely being us with our Venusian wiles, like bothered to put lipstick on today and some earrings for you guys. That is kind of definitely happening, right? That's the idea. but she's tomboy, right? And she's willful and she's kind of more aggressive in Aries, but she's trying to birth into a soft and seductive morning star, even though she's still in the beer hall with the Valhalla warriors here. So look at ways in which your sense of self physically and your personhood, your character can benefit from this star point where you can get a lot more sense of power from you being who you are in the world. Like if I think back to the 2017 star point, that was the beginning of me beginning to go into social media and do readings for people again and move away from, funny enough, move away from other stuff I was doing. Part of that's also my Aquarius rising. We'll get to that. But I can see I changed my identity and became very willfully willing to self-promote myself starting in 2017 when she star pointed in March in my first house, my solar first house. Taurus, sun, moon, and ascendant, Venus will star point in your 12th house of your dreams at night and reveries and self-undoing habits and patterns. You know, she might propel you to create a sense of harmony and beauty and joy and goodness in your life by letting go of any patterns of addiction or self-undoing, especially real addictions as well. And she could in that house really assist you to get in touch with your deeper inner visions through your dreams at night, or sometimes your meditations. If you're a meditator, this is a really good spot for Venus to rebirth every 4 years. Go back and think about some of the revelations that might have come out of that rebirth back in March of 2017. And it is a karmic house. You know, it does in evolutionary astrology kind of represent the house of past lives. I've seen it like really kind of work that way with people, especially, you know, every now and then I get a client who says, oh, I remember all my past lives. And I've been going like, you know, there's you were a nun in a past life. And Venus in the 12th house is kind of like a nun in a convent because it's a house of ashrams and recluses and renunciation. So you might find your sexuality in the next few months is taking a more spiritual turn, but this is happening for you, Taurus, sun, moon, and ascendants anyway, every 4 years. So I'm saying, in what way does it really show up now in the next 9 months in particular, where you might take a more spiritual or renunciant approach to your sex life? Also, of course, look for any planets that might be in your 12th house are close to 6 to 9 degrees, and that could also help you. 3 to 9 degrees, and it could also help put flavor on this. Gemini, sun, moon, and ascendant, you are rebirthing Venus in your 11th house of good spirit, where you have a lot of luck, pennies from heaven. She's a money goddess in a money house. You could have great financial boon from this, but of course, don't forget, you're getting this possibility every 4 years. Pay attention to the next 9 months about some money windfalls, money luck, and money growth for you, for sure. And as she gets ready to be born here, look for any planets within 3 degrees of either side of 6, because that will tell you a lot about if any other planets are participating in this midwiving of a new Venus. If you need new friendships, she's a goddess of friends, and this is a house of friends. So it could be a birth of a new set of friendships or tribes or belonging in your life. All right, moving forward. Cancer, sun, moon, and ascendant, you guys are having career rebirth energy. What is your purpose in the world? What is it you wish to do? Venus is saying, I'm here to rebirth a new direction. Perhaps if you go back to 2017, add, till January of 18, maybe something changed in your career or your work environment, and you can keep doing that, of course, all the way back, right? 13, 2009 onward. You get a refresh button here, okay, about every 4 years. So think about in terms of that. It could sometimes literally play out as a new woman coming into your career zone or workplace. And again, look for this to play out between now and January, but also kind of informing the 4-year arc over the next 4 years before she gets back here. Leo, sun, moon, and ascendant, Venus is popping her new self out into the world through the heart of the sun in your 9th house. And your 9th house is the house of God, the house of truth, the house of wisdom, the house of book publishing, the house of foreign lands, the house of Dharma, the house of guides and mentors. Now, Venus is going to be maybe sometimes out picturing, especially so close to Chiron. For some of you, Leo, sun, moon, and ascendant is a female mentor or guide that comes into your life that you're going to end up benefiting from, especially with the mentor Chiron there in the house of mentors and guides. So pay attention to that in the next, between now and January. If you want to travel to foreign lands, and Venus surely doesn't mind as long as it's luxurious. And adventurous, because she's in the Aries area. That could be really fun. And you could do that also for healing and self-healing over the next 9 months. So until January, keep your eye on that ball. Some of you might even want to move to a foreign land if it's possible. So a lot of foreign land energy up there. And finally, if you're into writing a book, Venus does not mind that at all. And she's in the house of book publishing. She could propel you to finally get that thing done or published. All right, Virgo, sun, moon, and ascendant. It looks to me, oh, and I should have, oh, never mind, I'm going back. It looks to me like you're having this an 8th house money stuff happening here. So a lot of you Virgo, sun, moon, and ascendants are looking good financially. She does rebirth here every 4 years. So you might go back and look at how you might have had, paid off your debt, got a great bank loan, secured a fantastic mortgage, your spouse got rich, you got an inheritance. Those are possibilities back in March of 17 to, January of 19, or keep going back, March of 2009, add 9 months, etc. So 2009, 2013, 2017, keep going back and looking at patterns of how it has been when she's rebirthing in a finance house. It's also occult mystery and traditions of that nature, astrology, tarot cards, magic, pagan magic, alchemy, masonry, secret hidden occult traditions. If you're into that and Venus is there, it could initiate a new direction around the Venusian version of magic, whatever that might look like. I'm not sure. But it's definitely clearly a money place. And so some of you guys are looking at some money bonuses over the next 9 months. And could be a healing of some of your financial wounds as well, even if it's just a literal wound, like you're leaking money out of an account or something, because the healer is there, Chiron is there, and the goddess of the harvest and abundance is close by as well. So financial goodness, and don't forget, it is a house of inheritance. So, I mean, not that I'm saying that, like, don't bite your nails about everybody you know and someone passing away, but it could be that in the next 9 months, you do receive an inheritance. Libra, sun, moon, and ascendant. Venus is rebirthing herself in the house of long-term committed love and business partnerships. Ta-da! Sometimes clients, if you have them. It's quite possible you're going to make some new business partners coming up in the next 9 months that will be very lucrative for you. And don't forget, this is an occurrence every 4 years. Go back to 2017, go back to 2009, etc. Do your own research. Do your research to see your patterns. But again, now that she's at the 6th degree, look, her planet's close to it. Is anyone in your 7th house close to that 6th degree, midwifing her rebirth, especially between 3 and 9 degrees? And also with Chiron there, maybe you're healing something about long-term committed love. She could bring then, therefore, new love, Venus in the 7th house, in a committed long-term relationship into your life sometime in the next 9 or so months. Scorpio, sun, moon, and ascendant. You're going to have Venus rebirthing herself in the 6 degrees of Aries in your 6th house of health protocols and work and daily routines. So go back and look about how that might have shifted in 2017 and March plus 9 months, and then do the same for 2013 and 2009. Maybe you can suss out a pattern. Of course, it's not always the same. The sky's never the same, right? So there's certain things going on here that are different, like the Mars piece. But in general, look for the places that you see changes in those things in your chart. You might be, expecting the same vibe again. It could be also employees and colleagues at work, and Venus represents a woman. So a new colleague, a new employee, a new employer, those themes of work and workplace. Those could be prominent as she is rebirthing in your house here of work. And it could take about, until January, mid-January, for you to see the full impact of this, but usually it's sooner than that. Certainly a good time to find new health protocols that involve what Venus would care about, which is, are you having any fun? If you hate it, don't do it, okay? Alrighty, and then last but not least, since I've been whipping around the zodiac and started with Capricorn, Sagittarius, sun, moon, and ascendant, birthing a new story in the house of romantic love, also in the house of children and sexuality and fun, play, pleasure, and inspiration, one of Venus's favorite places to be. A lot of you Sagittarius is born with an Aries ruled house of love affairs. You're already kind of the Randy type, probably really have a strong sex drive in general. And now you've got this rebirth of that area of your chart. And that starts for you in, of course, this March now, and goes for until January. If it could deal with your children, re-engaging with your children in some way, or if you want a child, it could initiate the birth of a child, and with Venus, probably a female, or the birth or the pregnancy or the conception of a child in the next 9 months. There's healing here. Chiron is here now. I mean, he wasn't always here, right? So these Venus star points don't always have Chiron joining in. And the last time Chiron would have been, let me think, 2013, Chiron wasn't there yet. So, this is your first time engaging sexual healing, even sexual healing or romantic healing, or a healing or with one of your children. I should have focused more on the specialness of Chiron, I realize, for everyone else, but understand that's definitely there to heal your relationship with your children if it's needed. And certainly, finally, it's a money house. It can be money luck through speculation. And Venus is a goddess of money. And so it's possible that a speculative move will pay off very well in the next 9 months. See if that happened in 2017 and 2013. I know one of you Sagittarius sons who made an investment in 2017, because I co-invested with you, kind of speculative, and it paid off. So look to see if you have a pattern around every 4 years of being lucky with money and lucky in love. All righty. There we go. Thanks for listening, guys. Please like and subscribe and hit the bell. Don't forget to check my description box. I'm giving away my 2021 year ahead readings, all signs. You can find the link below to grab it for yourself. Thank you. And yeah, don't forget to like and to subscribe and to share. And I got a sunburn. I can see it on my nose by being outside in the sun yesterday for like an hour. Okay, bye, everyone.